So we're now going to journey into making our driver more interactive. And in an attempt to make it interactive, here's the kind of end goal that I would like to propose. So we have our ldd.ko, right? And then we load this into the kernel, and we saw that the init and the exit, the init and the exit functions essentially print hello world and goodbye world, right? And now what we want to do is make this interactive. And in terms of making it interactive, what we want to do is somehow do like a read operation, right? And have the kernel module, the LDD, do something. And then as we read it again, next time around, kind of do something again, right? And we want these actions to be as simple as possible so that we can drive the point home in terms of how we interact with a kernel module. Now there are ways in which, well, obviously, the idea is that when all right, I should have mentioned that the partition here is denoting the kernel space and the user space, right? That's what the partition means here. And well, what I was trying to drive home is we want to take this user space read operation and essentially implement some functionality or some kind of make the kernel module responsive to those reads, right? And then I was going to mention that the in order for us to do read, there has to be some sort of file somewhere on which we can perform read, and this file needs to be kind of observed by or tied to our kernel module, right? So let me kind of just repeat this again. So we want the ldd.ko to respond to a read operation, right? And then we want it to respond to the read operation coming from the user space. And then the question is, this read is on what? It is going to happen on what? And I'm suggesting that it needs to happen on some file, right? And then the question is, okay, what is this file? Who creates this file? And all of that. Now, one of the things is that we would need to tie the Linux kernel module to this file so that the kernel module uh, catches the operation that is happening on this file system. So the kernel essentially is monitoring this node, so to speak, right? A file system or a file node. So it is observing that, and anytime there is a read and write operation requested on that node or on that file, the kernel understands that, hey, wait, hang on, this is tied to the ldd.ko module that was loaded, and I must go and invoke, let's say, the read or the write and so on and so forth, APIs that the driver authors have implemented. So that's how it typically works. The question then is, what is this file and who creates it? Now there are like bunch of steps involved in creating this particular file. If we want to go create something called a character type of file, right? And this is usually created in the slash dev slash something. There are steps involved in doing this. So what we are going to do is go towards a much simpler file system that allows us to interact with the driver and kind of peek into the operations of the kernel, and that is called the proc file system, right? And the proc file system is very interesting. First off, this file system is called the virtual file system. And why is it called virtual? Because these are not real files. All right. These are not real files. The slash proc the slash proc directory, so to speak, has many file entries, directory entries, but none of those are real, They are, so to speak, logical, they are, so to speak, imaginary. And what happens is anytime you perform read write operations on those, the kernel essentially dynamically uh, puts or prints some output to the user, right? So if you try and save certain values to them, they are not stored on the disk or in the memory. That's the idea. And when you are trying to read, it kind of prints certain status or information message from the kernel. So the proc file system then, and it's a very special type of file system. Again, it's a virtual file system. No file in here is real, they are just listings. And when you read or write into those, the kernel kind of prints helpful information or takes in your input and passes it on to the kernel module. These are not real files that are saved on the disk. That's the key idea. And why are we wanting to go this route? It's because creating a proc file is very straightforward from the kernel driver. We can just, during initialization, create a file for ourselves and then have the user interact with this virtual file. And, things will become a lot more clearer as we, develop our code. But here's the idea then. What we are going to do is, within the slash proc, we are going to create some file, right? And let me just call that file, I don't know, pajama driver. Let's just call it pajama driver, or we can call it LDD, driver, uh, or LDD file, something of that nature, right? Anything is good enough here, but that has to be within the slash proc. Let's say this file is there, and how we come to this file, I'll tell you in a minute. All right. Now the idea is that the user, right, the user will perform a read on this file, right, and the driver, which is, let me call this ldd.ko. So ldd.ko is monitoring reads on this file. And anytime it kind of, so it is also kind of internally implementing what to do when this file is read. And this is the part we will implement. All right, so anytime the read happens, there is internally a counter as to how many times read was called, right? So we kind of the number of count, or we keep like a count as to how many times read was called, and every time read was called, we implement this variable, so to speak, by one. All right, let's do that, and every time we read this, let's say we print the message as to how many times the read happened. Let's keep that as our end goal here. So we want to perform a read and see some output as a result of the driver handling the read. Cool. So this is what we are after. And now let me just show you few of the header files. Let me show you one header file that relates to this. So we also kind of, which I did not answer earlier, which I deferred for later, was how do we go ahead and create a proc file entry? And the answer to this is that there is a kernel API available, right? There's a function that we can, execute from the during our initialization function, right? From where we were printing the hello world. There, if we go ahead and create a proc file system entry, so that will lead to the creation of this, right? And again, when we come to code, this all becomes super, easy to understand. And then the idea is that we then have to define something called proc ops or proc operations, right? And we will somehow need to bind, we would need to bind those proc operations with this file entry, right, or this node. And once we do that, then like the kernel or kernel loadable module has created a file entry and tied operations on that file entry. And this file we are saying will be within proc, so it's a virtual or like a logical file. It's not a real file that's stored on the disk. That's very, very, very important. All right. So hopefully, if you have been able to follow so far, let me go ahead and bring up a header file, and this header file is available at this address. Let me change the color here. Yes, so it's available at this address, which is github.com/thorwald slash linux slash blob slash master slash include slash linux slash proc proc underscore fs.h, right? And the fs.h essentially talks about the file system, the proc file system.h, right? Perfect. So what we want to do now is scroll down, and you can take a look at this file, in detail. Uh, Understanding this, I wouldn't suggest that, or I wouldn't kind of think that you'll be able to understand this in one shot. But let me go ahead and introduce as to what different parts of this file are doing. So this is a header file, and within the header file, what we see here is this proc ops, right? So these are nothing but proc operations, uh, right? And the proc is like a shorthand for operations. And here then we see lot of entries, and each one of these entries are essentially uh, representing a system call, and these are like the operations that can be done or supported on a proc slash proc file entry, right? Entry within the slash proc essentially. So what we are after then is implementing this read proc read system call, right? So we are going to support this, and which means we will need to create a structure, and then within that structure populate this entry, and all other entries then by default become null or null pointers. One other thing is, at this point you should notice that this is nothing but a function pointer, right? So this is a function pointer. And in terms of writing code for drivers, the two things that you have to be absolutely on top of in terms of the C language is the idea of structs, and the second is the idea of function pointers, right? So that's kind of absolutely crucial and critical. Okay, so we are going to implement this API or a function, and then pass that function, somehow bind these operations to the proc file that we will create. All right, now, so this is what we are planning on implementing. And again, as we implement, things becomes more relatable, and you'll understand it a lot better. The question is, how do we go about creating that file entry, the pajama underscore driver? And the answer to that is this API right here, right? This one right here. Okay, let me just scroll that. Actually, I circled the wrong one. So this API right here. Let me change the color. Yeah, this API right here, right? So this API is telling us that it can create a proc entry, and then we are going to provide the name of that proc entry, the slash proc. So this we need not give, but this pajama driver that we were talking about, right? This as a virtual file that we want to create, this name needs to be provided here. Now, these are some other details as to what the mode is and so on and so forth. And if you see here, we are also providing the proc ops, right? A pointer to the proc ops. And what was proc ops? If we were to scroll up here, well, this is the proc ops. And what does proc ops have? It has function pointers or of various system calls, right? So then all of our next effort will come down primarily to implementing this one structure, right? To implementing this one structure. And the second thing it comes down to is essentially creating a proc entry. And where is that function? Yes. So implementing or calling this API. So there are only two things that we need to do. populate the proc op structure, and then create an entry. And the third thing we want to do is essentially write an API, that can be put here, right here. All right. So what we'll now do is head towards that and write some more code and achieve this end goal.